It is a beautiful fall day, so had the bike out for a few days. It's just something I enjoy doing. September is when I do the most riding. So I get home last night and I'm watching the news, and I'm online. My news sources are a couple different areas, biased one way or another. Perhaps I think we're all biased in some ways, but I'm biased in the way that what gives everybody the most opportunity for success, happiness, opportunity, everything like that. That's why I've always said, hey, I'm a free market capitalist, right? Socialism has some pretty good ideas that, I would maybe agree with if they worked, right? So I think we get into a socialist discussion and everything like this, and this isn't political. This is based on facts, and this is what throws me off so much about college education today, where you have the data that really doesn't show socialism ever did anything to improve people's lives. Everybody always brings up Norway and all that stuff. Well, there's more natural-born Norwegians living in the United States than there are in Norway. They fled the country, and it's really not socialist if you really do the looking into it. Anyway, when you look at socialism versus capitalism, you have to ask this one question, and I always ask, at what cost do you go this way? If you want to sit and wait for someone to give you something, chances are, if you're waiting on someone to give you a car and you not work to go buy a car you want, the choice is yours, right? You can wait 15 years to get a car like they did in the Soviet Union that was a two-stroke piece of junk, old design Fiat, or you could go buy a new Tesla. Which one do you think you want? And if you want to wait 15 years for whatever they're going to give you, just look at, you can get online and you can see these old apartments in the Soviet Union. This was free stuff, but they're not that nice. I personally would rather say, hey, if the opportunity is there, that way I can buy my own house. Nothing was ever given to me. I worked for everything, okay? I'm just saying. Got up a lot of days, didn't want to go up, get to work. I did it. But one thing that I was looking at yesterday was Google, YouTube, because Google owns YouTube, came out and said, hey, we were censoring conservatives and stuff like that. Now, whether I'm a liberal or conservative, it doesn't matter here. The facts are, they admitted they were doing it. And why did they do that? Well, is it because the Biden administration told them to? So this goes against my grain of thinking is, why don't we put ideas on the table? Things that work, right? I think a lot of times the federal government tries to get the one size fits all, and it works in some markets, maybe larger cities, maybe whatever, and it kind of leaves fewer choices for the people, right? That's just my take on it. But anyway, so that's what they did, and this goes back to many years ago. I lived in Germany. Met a lot of German people, hung out, had a good time, and I was just outside of Frankfurt, about 40 clicks. And I sat there and pondered this for a long time. How could these people have gone from a country that seems civil, the people are nice and everything, to killing all of these people in concentration camps? And it just wasn't Jews. It was a lot of, people that they decided, hey, you're going to a concentration camp. And where I'm going with this is that's the free speech option. A lot of times we don't like free speech because mean things can be said. And this gets back to who decides what's mean. In the example of Google and YouTube, shutting down these channels and striking, putting strikes against these channels for people that weren't threatening anybody. They were just trying to get the truth out. To the way they saw it. It's up to you to decide whether it's true or not, right? That's what I like. I like some independent thinking. And I think a lot of Americans do get it, but somehow or another, they keep voting a certain way. And I think you know where I'm going here. And it's your choice. It's democracy, right? In an election. Let's let everybody decide who they think is the best candidate. Nonetheless, during the Nazi takeover, and this is kind of where you're going if you don't have free speech. If you question anything, and this is kind of where I figured out why these people didn't do anything. During COVID, if you were a doctor and you had patients with COVID and you were treating them not with a vaccine or anything, but you looked at it and you thought, hey, this made sense, and you had good success, and you said, hey, I figured the formula. Maybe it's high doses of vitamin D with C, whatever it was. And you were threatened to lose your license. So you have a lot at stake if you're a doctor. You have a lot of invested time and money into practicing as a doctor, and they're going to take that away from you or threaten your family. This is why it's so critical that we do have free speech. Hate speech, part of the Google algorithm and everything like this, was decided by a third-party company. Now, whenever I've seen, oh, we fact-checked this, and this is wrong, when I've looked at Google, news articles and stuff, oh, it's fact-checked. Well, I went and fact-checked the fact-checkers, and it really was a DNC-operated thing where it convinces people, oh, well, whatever Fox News is saying isn't true. So you have to be careful, okay? But one thing I ask is always question, is this true? Because as you're an older adult, you've seen enough things, you've worked businesses and stuff, you see what works and what doesn't, okay? And I'm just kind of putting it out there that you really have to look at, well, we know certain things don't work. Cuba, which is sanctioned by the United States, but it's for different violations and stuff like that. I've got a friend that goes down to Cuba on a regular basis. Everybody touts, hey, it's it's socialist, it's all these people, it's this utopia. Well, he's gone down to the harbor. There's no ships. No boats, because the people want to leave. Now, is that the way you want to live your life? There's a lot of poverty, but hey, we're all equal. Not sure if that's really working, right? The United States is always to blame on their plight, but Cuba can free trade with every other country in the world, and yet these people don't have anything. The buildings are crumbling. They don't have electricity. And I'm going to tell you, it gets hot and humid in Cuba. And, this guy's observation is, hey, the people are wonderful. I mean, they are. The stuff that I've looked at. Everybody's just surviving, right? And is that the way you want to live your life? We got to have free speech, free choice, and let capitalism kind of lead the way, okay? Capitalism has a lot of advantages. It's not perfect. We all know that. There's certain things that I would like to see different. I would actually like to see more capitalism, and that a lot of these CEOs and all that stuff, instead of buying another jet, another house, they own 12 of them. And as Elon Musk said, hey, I hung out with a lot of billionaires. I've never met a grumpier, sad group in my life, right? If they would look at it and go, these people out here working are toiling for their money. Why don't I just give everybody a good raise? As just an example. And I know we want stuff, but after a while, I wish they would reinvest in the people that work for them. And I think it would be beneficial, and everything would work out. But that's today's rant. Glad you're here. We'll look for you the next time.